Right now on Up with KREM, it's Spokane's first freeze of the season. And while temperatures are cold this morning, the weekend offers a completely different story with another chance to hit 70 degrees.
Two candidates vying for your vote in Washington. This morning, how they are reacting to new poll results.
Plus, our Environment Northwest team takes us into the heart of Idaho. How researchers used an earthquake to find a new fracture in the Earth's crust.
Up with KREM begins now.
Good morning, happy Friday, 6 o'clock here. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis, and let's get you prepared for this very chilly start to Friday. So cold that we're calling for a weather impact alert day. Isn't that right, Thomas?
Yeah, that's right. It's our first freeze of the season officially here in Spokane as we got down to 32 degrees at about 4:30 this morning. We are still at 32 as of 6 a.m. here, so just realize that you might have to scrape a little bit of frost off your car if you are parked outside. Even colder to our north, though we have seen 20s before this date in Deer Park, Colville, and Sandpoint, so not unusual. In fact, this isn't unusual at all for this time of the season. It's just the first time it's been this cold, and it is about 8 degrees colder than it was yesterday, so just prepare for a bit of a colder Friday morning.
As you wake up and head out the door on this cold Friday morning, you're taking a live look at I-90 and Division, where you can see right now traffic is moving nice and smoothly here at 6:01. On Up with KREM, we do bring you live traffic conditions throughout the morning so you get an idea of what it looks like before you head out the door so you arrive where you're going on time.
This morning, the candidates in the Washington gubernatorial race are reacting to a new poll released by our Seattle station. The poll asked 700 likely voters who they would pick if the election was today, showing Democratic candidate Bob Ferguson in a large lead over Republican candidate Dave Reichert.
After the release of the poll, both candidates shared what they think is the most critical difference between the two of them to help you decide.
But for undecided voters, but really for all voters, our message is the same, whether you're Republican, Democrat, or undecided, which is, look, we're facing many challenges as a state. We need someone who can come into the governor's office and be a change agent to make improvements on public safety, homelessness, affordability, but at the same time defending our core freedoms, like reproductive freedom. And I'm the candidate that fulfills both of those needs for our state.
Well, the most critical difference is I'm not spreading fear and telling lies. I am running on a record that I've created over my career. And the message is that we can bring Washingtonians together. There's an opportunity here for us to have a moderate Republican governor who can work with a Democrat House and a Democrat Senate. And what I hope that opportunity gives us is to set an example in this state how really the two parties can work together.
Meanwhile, there was a U.S. Senate debate between Senator Maria Cantwell and challenger Dr. Raul Garcia. It was held by Cairo 7 Television and the League of Women Voters.
Now, yesterday afternoon, they touched on several topics, including a top concern going into this year's election, which is housing.
I am the leader in the United States Senate with a Republican colleague, Todd Young of Indiana, to increase the capacity of the affordable low-income housing tax credit. This tax credit is 95% of the affordable housing that gets built with this tax credit.
VA loans have worked because veterans don't have to come up with a down payment to buy a house. I want to turn that into the regular public. Let's have programs with our lenders that our regular citizens could afford to buy a house without a down payment. They still have to qualify.
Now, in less than 2 weeks, KREM 2 is hosting a 5th District Congressional debate. Candidates Carmela Conroy and Michael Baumgartner will be here in the KREM 2 studio on Wednesday, October 30th. The hour-long debate begins at 7 that evening and will air on KREM 2, KSKN 22, KREM 2 Plus, and KREM.com. At 6:04, let's take a look at some of today's other top stories. 2 roommates are in the hospital this morning after a stabbing in the West Central neighborhood. Now, this all happened last night on West Sharp Avenue near North A Street. According to the Spokane police, one of them has life-threatening injuries while the other has serious injuries. The Pend Oreille County Public Utility District is issuing a boil water order for the Medellin Falls. A water line broke near the Sullivan Creek Bridge, so now the city's water system is shut off and State Route 31 near the bridge is closed. The city told customers who still have water to bring it to a rolling boil for 1 minute, then allow it to cool. According to the provider, customers still without water should expect it to return this morning. Well, since the pandemic, Washington's roads have seen the highest increase in traffic fatalities in the country. Now, map and traffic apps could help the state reduce those deaths. Recently, the state purchased data collected by those apps, and it shows where drivers are speeding and when they're using their phones. Cell phone data gathered between 2022 and 2023 shows 25% of drivers use their cell phones while driving. And drivers on residential streets were 2 times more likely to use their phones than drivers on highways. The state says it's not using the data to mail out tickets and that it is anonymous. That's a look at this morning's top stories.
Happening this weekend, Disney on Ice is here in town.
That's right. So Brandon T. Jones is joining us live from the Spokane Arena this morning, getting a bit of a sneak peek before the action all takes place on the ice. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning, Tim. Good morning, Channing. You know what? I'll tell you this. I rock out with the Disney on Ice people. They're very cool individuals. I'm not talking about the ice or anything. That doesn't impact anything. But right now I'm with Mimi, and Mimi just she's good vibes. And
thank you.
Mimi, we're going to be talking about a little bit of choreography. Is that right?
That is right, yes.
All right. Well, how are you doing first and foremost?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be back here in the Pacific Northwest in Washington, and I really love Spokane. So.
Yeah, talk about your roots real quick, because you're back in the Pacific Northwest. Where are those roots from?
I am from Washington. I grew up here, and I grew up skating here down in Lakewood, Washington.
All right, so if you're watching Lakewood,
yes.
Lakewood, shout out to Lakewood. All right, but let's get into this choreography.
Absolutely.
Can you teach me a little something or something?
I can teach you a little something. I'm going to
right.
show you something from our beautiful segment of Encanto.
Okay.
This is in the beginning, and it's our conga line.
Okay.
So we're going to have a count of 8 of, you're going to put your hands in a fist,
okay.
and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, 1,
so yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm sorry. I'm going off into my own thing right now.
No, that was great, honestly. And then
know.
you could also do a count of 8 of little vine flourishes for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go.
2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, no, Mimi, I'm gonna teach you a little something.
Okay.
No, I'm messing with you, Mimi. I appreciate it. Well, how exciting are these shows? What is that energy like when you're out there? 7 p.m. tonight's the first show.
Mm-hmm.
What is that feeling like?
We really bring the magic of Disney to everyone's hometown, and our show has over 55 different Disney characters.
Wow.
So there's a little bit of everything for everybody. Anything from our newest segments of Frozen 2 to Raya and the Last Dragon.
Raya and the Last Dragon's a good one too. I got a 1.5-year-old, and so I've been getting into all the Disney movies. But Mimi, you're awesome. I appreciate you. And we'll toss it back to the studio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, well, hi there. All right, well, we will be right back here with more Up with KREM in just a couple of minutes.
We are actually going to go to weather here. Found the right camera, didn't we? Right now it is clear skies. It is cold conditions out there. But this weekend ahead is going to be much warmer, but it may be bookended by some rainfall. We are looking at just this little trickling of rain on the west side that may arrive late on tonight, but shouldn't be anything too worrisome outside. Instead, just the focus right now is on how cold it's going to be this morning, with our current temperature at 32 degrees and the afternoon high just in the 50s. We'll be right back. More Up with KREM after this.